This episode of Scab Talk is brought to you by Lethal Gaming Gear. And welcome back to Scab Talk, everyone. Today's episode, we'll be going over the latest Tarkov news, starting with an arena patch that's got an interesting change to it, as you may be able to see from the title. Excuse my little notification on my phone. Followed by I played Tarkov in Rust, and I have thoughts. Okay, maybe not followed by, but that's the first thing I saw. Russian dev interview and diary, that's on the list, and then learning the Labyrinth.
Yes, all exciting stuff. It's been quite exciting with the whole Labyrinth thing. I guess you probably haven't been playing it, right? But it's there's a little. I actually think that it's worth. I can't look. Where did you get to on PVE? You got Flea, right? So you could. Oh no, did you just get Workbench?
I think you just
got Workbench. Yeah, you needed. I was like, did you get level 15 or did you get 2 bolts? I think it was 2 bolts. But I've talked to lots of different people about it, and I think Labyrinth is super fun on PvP, but I think it's well worth getting on PvE. But anyway, I was wondering. I figured that you probably hadn't been doing it, so I've been doing most of Labyrinth stuff whenever I've been online, just 'cause it's kind of the new thing, and it's actually exciting. But
yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued because I've seen some clips, and recently I saw one of your clips, and I was like, oh, this looks so I feel like I'm transported into a different universe almost,
yeah,
like I'm in a dungeon crawler type
exactly.
thing. Got a certain vibe to it.
It's good. I mean, there's bad things or things that I think should be different, but overall, it's one of the best events. One of the best events so far. I mean, it's super fun, but I genuinely think that it's way more accessible on PvE, honestly, just because of the way it's designed.
What's the bare minimum requirements to get in?
There was a level requirement at one point. It's not as much as I thought there was going to be. I was quite daunted looking at it to start with.
Yeah,
but it actually wasn't too bad. There are lots of quests. Maybe we'll go through it in a minute when we go and look at the Labyrinth bit. But yeah, there were lots of quests up there, but you don't need to do them all to get in, and then you also don't need to do all of them to actually make the access kind of normal. So we can have a look at that in a minute. Actually, let's start. Okay, before I ramble off, let's do the arena patch first and a few other bits just to get our housekeeping out of the way and some other updates before we talk about everything else to do with the Labyrinth, because it's probably going to be a big segment in the middle. So Arena did do a technical update. I still play Arena here and there. I think honestly, I played doing this Labyrinth stuff just straight in without playing Arena, and I was like, man, I feel so rusty. This just feels so bad. I genuinely, and I didn't even have any questing to do in Arena or anything. The next time I went to the game, I was like, we're going to play 10 minutes of Arena first, because literally if I don't play Last Hero first, I just feel so rough. Since the previous time I played, you just don't get enough opportunities in Tarkov to actually just shoot the gun. So I picked something that was similar to what I was going to be playing with. You can't get 50 rounder MDRs and stuff like that in Arena. So I was like, right, well, we'll do 40 rounder RD704 instead, and that's sort of similar-ish, punch and caliber and ergo and whatnot. So I'm still interested in the updates they're putting on Arena. Most of it is just technical, so there's not actually a huge amount of awesome stuff in here. There was some FPS optimizations, especially when several players firing at the same time. They brought the updates for the audio system into Arena as well, some of the extra stuff that they'd added after changing it recently. The main two is, firstly, the improved system of player culling behind obstacles. So when players are not visible, they will not be rendered on the observer's client, optimizing the load on game configurations. They say optimizing the load, but I think that there's a big part of this that is not said, which is about anti-cheat, right? Because it makes walls so much harder to use if you can't see the person through the walls, right? It's it makes so much sense. And I saw a couple of weeks ago, one of the lead devs for Rust was showcasing their version of this as well, which was looking at people through hills and stuff, and they'd changed their algorithm for how that functions, and basically, culling players until they're kind of close to edges, so that your game client doesn't even receive that information. So that's good, honestly. I mean, I don't think, some people say that there's some cheating that goes on in Arena. I've only had 1 or 2 people who I think are actually suspicious, but that's kind of in line with my usual experience of cheaters and the times when I play. I had one guy. Now, the problem is that I know people who are extremely good, especially on some of the maps like Chop Shop that are very kind of prescript, like you know where all the angles are, you know where all the spawns, because the
Yeah.
map's so tiny, right? You learn it relatively quickly. Even I know pretty much everything about that map now. You know all the angles, all the spawns, all the spots, like where everybody can be. And there was only
Hmm.
one guy who he wasn't like unkillable, but there was just quite a few times where there's one where he was like vaulting up onto a cart, and it could have just been a weird animation thing. He was like vaulting up onto a cart, and like he like snapped onto me and just like killed me while he was like mid. He like swung around and just like shot and killed me like while he was like mid animation. I was like, it just looks super weird.
Do
Um,
you get to see the kill cam, right, of him killing you?
Not in Last Hero
Oh, why?
because it's so fast. I don't know. They
Uh,
should they
huh.
should at least give you the opportunity, but it doesn't play in like unranked Last Hero because you're just like expected to spawn straight back in.
I see.
So it doesn't
I guess that
play,
kind of makes
unfortunately.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have the option. I think. You
Yeah,
know,
you
do you
could.
want to do you
Yeah,
want to do you want the kill cam press the button? I mean, I'm pretty sure that you don't get the option. I've forgotten now. I mean, I just auto respawn in so fast. I actually can't even remember if it tells you whether you can or not.
yeah.
Maybe there is a way actually. I don't know. I could be proven wrong on that, but I don't think so for Last Hero. But anyway, there's only been a handful of people who I've gone, well, you know, maybe not, but I know people who are just insanely good also at
Yeah.
those kind of game
Yeah.
modes as well. So I've got some couple of people in my Discord who are just like crazy, and you watch their stuff and you're just like, this dude looks like he's cheating. But once you watch for a bit, you're like, oh, I can kind of see what's happening. Like if you know every surface and you start to unpick the different like sounds from each other, it's like, oh, you can actually hear that guy running, and like you know the exact layout of the map.
Yes.
So he's going to
Yeah.
appear here at this point. You just pre-fire the guy as he's running. Like it actually, and you can sort of start to say, okay, I kind of get it. Like after watching a few of those videos, it kind of changed the way I played the game. Actually, we talked about this like months ago when I was first looking at Arena. Um, so it's difficult to tell because there are some people who are genuinely cracked. It's like the people who are good at labs, like times 10, because the map's like 4 rooms. So it's like
Yeah.
it's very easy to be, if you're already like cracked aim, it's very easy to be good at the map at that point. So I don't know, but if there's any cheating or whatever in Arena, I know some people do see it worse than others, probably depending on your region and times or whatever. Then this, in my opinion, should help a bit. I think. Were you going to say something?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's just like I was thinking about factory and
Mm,
how because the flooring in certain areas are like really metally. This may not be as true in the newer version, but like specifically around what is it, gate 3 or gate 0? I always get confused. The one
Definitely the
that's
gate 3, because that one's got like the big metal floor outside.
yeah. But what can be like confusing is the rafters above are like metal,
Mm,
even like the one that's like almost got like a concrete slab to it, but like a track railing. I don't even know what it's used for.
mm.
Um, so yeah, if you just hear metal running, you may be looking at the ground floor looking for the guy, but he's actually above you running. There's a few stuff like that on some maps. Factory comes to mind, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's just an interesting. I wonder how much for like the arena maps, how much they really, you know, were particular about some of that stuff. Like, oh, this bit's got to have like wood on the flooring. This bit's got to have like metaling, because I'm sure that's like a common practice in like these esport title games like Valorant, CS:GO. I would imagine at least, like it just seems somewhat like it's got to be
Yeah.
somewhat intentional.
I guess, yeah, I don't actually know because I've never really played any of those. I've never really played any FPSs like competitively in that
Hmm.
sense. Just like played them casually a lot. It's like a different mindset, if you're playing like ladder rank queue or whatever. Like most of my old style FPS gaming used to be unranked, just multiplayer lobby, right? The way it used to be, it's like original Modern Warfare and like Counter Strike Source and before, right? There wasn't there was no queuing. Like rank queue hadn't really, it only existed for stuff like RTSs and things, which is what I did play a lot. You see, so like I've never really played those competitively, so I'm not sure. But you must imagine so, and yeah, it's like one of the skill differential thing. Like you can definitely tell where certain people are on certain maps on Arena just because of the sound on the floor.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, it's interesting. Um, so they added a couple of other bits. They added DLSS 4, so the new like preset K and all this stuff that they added to the base games that came as well. A few other bits and pieces about announcer volumes and stuff. But then the main other one is that they've disabled weapon malfunction in matches. So that's like just regular weapon jams for durability and whatnot. I mean, you don't really have durability on your gun. I guess if you maybe you can see it. I've never really looked at it in Arena because it's kind of pointless, and I only play like the respawn modes anyway, so you just get a new kit every time. But it says here now, weapon malfunction will only occur in 2 cases: when the maximum weapon overheat is reached, and when the weapon is fired before it cools down after reaching the maximum overheat. So if you're using like this, really only applies primarily to shotguns and things like the SR3M. And the VAL and the VSS, is that if you get to the maximum overheat, you will jam, but you won't get random jamming outside of that. I've not really seen that much in Arena otherwise, but I guess it's plausible. I suppose it's possible.
I mean, this is kind of intriguing to me because it's like, I mean, there's a lot I could say here, but it's mainly what I'm thinking is like, in some ways, you have like a very straightforward system where, and you have some type of like feedback from the game. Your barrel gets like red hot, like you're reaching. It's almost like you have like a overheat bar, like those
Mm.
like boomer shooters firing a minigun or something. And like you're really playing with fire, and then it seems like it's kind of binary, and then you have to wait for it to cool down, unless you want to try to jam, and then no, and you're gonna jam again is how it reads to
Yeah.
me. So, which then makes me think, oh my god, should you like make a gun that's like, you know, very heat resistant, and then has like extremely fast cooling, so when it does jam, it's just like let off the fire and then it just like cools off instantly. It's just got like exhaust pipes coming off the barrel, like steam comes out with the cooling.
I mean, I remember trying to look into this, or thinking about starting to look into this ages ago when they
Yeah,
first added it, and it's like it just doesn't matter enough for
yeah,
almost any gun except the VSS, the VAL, and blah blah blah. And you can't even
but you can't
fix it
even
there
do
because
anything.
A, you can't mod them, and B, the heat is mostly on the actual bullet. So you
Yeah,
do have some stuff from the suppressor. These are significant proportion of it. But if you look at the actual bullets themselves, SP6 is like plus 60% or something heat. So no matter what you do, it's on the actual. The
well,
cooling rate
yeah,
makes a difference on the gun, but
yeah,
it's just like it's not very quick, because I've been in quite a few situations, especially it's funny actually, as I've got better at last hero mode and got better at chop shop in particular, I've like run into like new problems from being a better player, which is kind of cool, which is like things like, oh, I'm actually running out of ammo. I've run out of ammo a couple of times in last hero and
ew,
in checkpoint, which is like, oh, it's kind of annoying. Like I've had to try and melee somebody twice in checkpoint recently because I literally have no
no
more
way.
bullets, which is quite funny. And then also the issue with the SR3M as well, which is the other one that I use that I get the heat problem on the most,
Yeah,
is that you once you've killed a couple of people or mag dumped a few people, you do really quickly hit that threshold, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm still alive though. Like I've got to make the best of it. And I end up like swapping to semi mode, and I'm like just trying to like single tap people in the head with it instead. It's quite entertaining. So you do have to manage it quite carefully, otherwise you do, if you use more than, I don't know, 10 bullets per person, it just shreds the heat. It's just way too much. And then it actually takes ages to cool down. Even if
yeah,
you're just firing like 1 or 2 shots here and there, like you can't full auto again. You're kind of screwed until you die and respawn.
yeah. I mean, in some ways, this like, is this? Can you even say it's a like a buff to like BS? Because it almost sounds like it's a nerf. Because you're as soon as you reach the maximum threshold, then like you just have to sit there and wait. Like you can't gamba. Like I guess before you could gamba, right? You could hit
I
the jam lotto machine, or am I just misreading this?
I think that what they've written for the way that it works now is how it always worked for heat. That's my understanding of it. Maybe it was a little bit more varied before, but like once the barrel goes red, like it's gonna jam at some point. It's just maybe it's a couple of bullets here or there. But the other jams from bigger mags, durability, that kind of stuff, which only goes from, if you're shredding people with a 60 rounder with a suppressor on a
I
M4 or
see.
whatever, you could get that below 93, I suppose, in a within a round or a couple of rounds or something. I don't know whether it respawns you with the same gun with max durability again. I just like I've never had it jam outside of heat in arenas. It's an interesting one, you know. But I guess that the
But
main
it's
takeaway for me is that BSG is like willing to roll back a core mechanic in some ways that doesn't fit arena. I'm like, oh, it's actually an interesting, just like philosophical change.
yeah. Yeah, I mean there's definitely that. But now that I'm reading this, it does seem like it just says weapon malfunctions will now only occur in these two cases, it doesn't
Yeah.
say, we've changed how
Will
weapon.
reoccur because of this. I think it's the same. It sounds the same based on my
Yeah.
experience of jamming the SR3M over and over and over again.
Hmm.
It sounds the same. That's kind of the experience that I have, where you hit the limit and then it's like gonna cool down, but if you shoot it again, like it's just gonna jam straight away.
So another way of saying this is they've removed weapon durability because
I
that's the
guess.
only other scenario.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
far as I'm aware. Yeah.
because you can't jam on 100%, even if like a high jam gun or something like a high
Not
jam
as
gun,
far as
high
I'm
jam
aware.
round.
Yeah, I don't
Because there's
think
that
so. I'm pretty sure.
93% rule,
Mm. Hmm.
but even like past that, can you? I don't know.
You
I guess you're
can. It's just not that likely at the
extremely.
high. Like it's possible. I have
Yeah,
done once or twice.
yeah. I
I
guess that's
jammed
true.
I jammed in the labyrinth against an
Oh no.
AI scav thingy because I was using the MCX with the 100 rounder for funsies. And I went thick, and then he shot me in the side of the head with a slug, which was really sad.
Because the
So it
100
does happen.
rounders affect jams, right? Like they jam more.
Yes. So the 100 rounder affects jams, and because I was using the 100 rounder, you get below 93 quicker because you're kind of intending to spray more, I guess. So even though I
Mm.
started with 100% MCX, I managed to get it below 93. I don't know how much below it was because obviously I didn't check, but it can't have been much. And then I got stuck just when I needed it. Yeah,
But yes,
don't go below 93, friends.
I yes,
It
always
seems a lot less
God.
possible on semis, is my experience. Like you can use like a ragged old SKS or a SVD or whatever. I mean, I don't know whether it's just a pure volume of shots thing or if there's an actual modifier. But when you're firing individual, just bang, bang, bang individual rounds,
Hmm.
it does just seem way less. I mean, it might just be a volume of shots thing. The MCX is a
Yeah,
proper
maybe.
hose,
Hmm.
so I don't know. It's hard to disentangle those things.
But yes,
Yeah.
I agree. It is interesting that they are rolling back some of their, because I think they got criticized for that very early on, right? People were like,
Hmm.
"Weapon jams, gross," type of thing.
Yep, and also, yeah, like some of the animation lengths, like there's no point ever really healing because the maps are so small, and you're better off just like pushing, just doing a
Hmm.
YOLO play, ego swing balls out rather than trying to heal your thorax from like 3 HP. Because if you try to heal, you're dead and like automatically, like most of the time. Like it makes a bit more sense in like Blast Gang and like Team Fight, but yeah, in the other game modes, silly. But then, in fairness, they did add the like you're pre-pained in both Checkpoint and Last Hero. So the
Yeah,
respawn modes, you don't need to painkiller
yeah.
at all. It's just always pre-pained, which is fine. So you just have that mechanic overriding your legs or whatever in those game modes. So they made some allowances at least, which is all right.
One day we'll get in a
Cool.
drill in the future. One day.
Maybe. Okay, so apparently, there was this Russian interview that happened with Papa Nick, and I didn't actually like hear about this or anything, but it was Axel. Go and watch Axel's video if you want like the full info. He basically broke it down as resident linguistic translator. We all depend on Axel. But the key takeaways from this interview so far was that apparently EFT is going to be purchasable and playable, not just on Epic Games, but also on Steam. Apparently, they are going to do this at some point. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's for 1.0, but I mean, he said it. Like, Nikita's always said this.
Hmm.
They've never said they're not going to. They've always said when they were asked they were going to do it. People were never sure about the timeline or whether it was going to be one of those things, because I don't think they've said Steam for a while. So it's one of those things where BSG says a lot of stuff just because they haven't said no doesn't mean that it's kind of just like been forgotten if it was 4-year-old news or whatever. But apparently they are
Hmm.
still intending to put it on there as well. So both Arena, obviously, which is going on Epic on like the 10th, I think, is it in like 6 days or something. And then it's also the base game as well. It's going to be on both. I mean, I can only imagine that they would do that with 1.0. That would make the most sense in the entire world. There's
Yeah.
probably lots of people who are tangentially realizing it. Yeah, there's lots of people who like seen Tarkov. It's got very like what's the word, recognizable sort of brand, but a lot of people haven't necessarily played. And if it suddenly comes to Steam at 1.0, I do think they'll get a lot of new people just being like, you know, oh, it's finally finished. You know, I guess we play
Yeah.
it, and it's on Steam now. I don't have to go through some hooky payment processing site to actually play the game and all of this stuff. I know that's put some other sort of more casually people off as well. Like anybody who's dedicated to playing will just like go through, figure out how to do it, and play the game and use their launcher, right? But like, there's lots of casually sort of interrelated people who are like maybe I have to do like there's a small barrier like I won't bother them. So I think that would be the smart move. Lots of people have been asking about the Labyrinth, obviously, and about whether they're going to keep it and whether the Minotaur is still going to be the gift, because the Minotaur down there is Tagilla. It's like Tagilla with his funny hat on, and his like his big Labrys choppy axe. And apparently, the Labyrinth and the Minotaur, it's part of the storyline quest, supposedly. So they're going to be keeping it. And I know people were asking on, I should probably have had a look actually on the site on Tarkov.community, because people been asking various things on there, and people were saying like, can you keep the Labyrinth in? And yeah, that's actually the top voted one. Add the Labyrinth as a permanent addition. And BSG responded, Yoa, lead game design, said, yeah, we'll think about how to do it. But yeah, according to this interview, apparently Nikita said, yeah, it's actually it's going to be part of 1.0.
So is it? I'm trying to figure this out. Is it been retrofitted into the lore, or was it like always in the lore?
I don't know.
We don't really
I'm
know.
not
Okay.
sure. That information wasn't conveyed through Axel's video. I don't know whether there's more info in the interview itself, but from what Axel said, I don't know. It just didn't say so.
But that's why I'm confused, because then you were like, and then Tarkov community people were like, "Can you keep this in the game?" And then they're like, "Hey, we'll figure out how to do it." So is that like linking the two together? Like, okay, we figured out how to do it in this interview. I'm mentioning that now we're doing this as the lore or something.
I read that in one of two ways. Either it was always intended for 1.0. They built it, and then
Right.
they're like, this will be a cool event. We'll launch it now as an event. And then people have said like, hey guys, can we like have this in the game? And they're like, oh, we were only intending it for the event, but like, I guess we could keep it
Gotcha.
open until 1.0 if you want, like if you really like it. That's one possible. I'm not saying that's the way it is. That's one possible way. The other way is
Yeah.
that they launched it and everyone was like, oh, this is cool. And they're like, oh, sick, we'll add it to 1.0, then we'll make it work. I don't know. I'm not sure which way around it is,
Yeah.
but either way, it's cool and people want them to keep it, and they said they're going to. Then supposedly there's going to be weapon skins coming with the fabled arena battle pass whenever it ends up appearing. Apparently, weapon skins are actually coming to the game.
You need to tell me, because I don't have my pulse on the Tarkov Heartline like I used to. Are people like freaking out about this Battle Pass thing? Or are they like, this is the apocalypse? What's
No,
the
I wouldn't say
sentiment?
so. I would say the sentiment is more just of intrigue as to like, what's this going to look like? What does this even mean? What does a BSG battle pass
Okay.
actually mean? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
people are broadly, I don't know. I would say people, from what I've seen, but I usually reside in like relatively positive EFT circles. I have
Fair
seen
enough.
people being more just kind of like, if it's cosmetics and that kind of thing, then cool, because that's what we've been telling them that we want all the whole time.
Yeah.
If it's like some fun stuff, then like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I'm not bothered. So I think that's the deal. It's like, as long as it's not stupid, and it's weapon skins and stuff like this, I think people are kind of up for it. So we'll see. But the cool thing there is that they're coming with Arena, but then they're also coming to the main game. I don't know in exactly what format. I don't know whether you have to unlock them in the Arena and then you get them in the base game, or whether they're part of the base game as
So
some other quest or whatever. I
oh,
don't know.
so
But they're,
skins
they're
specifically are coming in the main
the
game.
skins are coming to the main game
Like
as well,
weapon
which is
skins.
good. Weapon skins, yeah,
That's
which
really
I
cool.
like. I mean, I like the idea of that.
Yeah,
I
I've
think
always wanted, like, I
it's
hope
cool.
it's God, I hope it's like, you can like spray them metaphorically, like, because oh
Hmm.
man, I played this one, or I don't think I played it, but there's this one Tarkov mod where you could have something like that, but you had to go to the trader who did this service for you, and you basically had to like trade your M4 for a different M4, but now it has the color. Like, it was just like, imagine using a trader UI to
Hmm.
do each color for every weapon part. Like, it's just awful. It's like you need
Yeah.
like it was something that's like limited by modding. You need something that can be proper. So I hope it's get something like that, because yeah, I know, like, I mean, people go nuts over this stuff, but like me, I just want to be the sweaty one. It's like, oh, it's winter season. Let me get the winter camo set out. Oh, I'm going to woods. Let me get the digital flora camo out. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll
Oh, it's
see.
it's interchange. Let me get the IKEA. Can you imagine your like gun, like just IKEA plastered all over it, like branding? That would be so funny.
Kind of like supreme sort of,
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm here for it. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure there'll be stuff about it that people will say, this is questionable or whatever. But that's just
Sure.
BSG, I guess. Tarkov TV is coming soon, which is nice. We're going to get our kind of mid-wipe Tarkov
Soon.
TV, so we'll know what's coming. Within the next couple of months. We already knew last week that there was the roadmap coming. They said that there was like a roadmap that was going to be appearing pretty soon, which is kind of nice. You said RPG soon as well. Like we've been teased so much for the RPG. It was in all the BTL quest lines, and then it ends up being nothing and like not working out. So apparently the RPG is coming soon, which is good. He said apparently they're not going to add prestige to PvE, which is interesting. Apparently
I
he
mean,
wants more people playing PvP. It's like a special reward for PvP. For those of you who weren't aware, because I only know this because of parents, like he's a super PVE guy on Twitter. I see like posting about stuff. To prestige in PVE, you basically prestige in PvP. Like you get the rewards in PVE. I don't think it resets your PVE. I don't think, but it gives you the backgrounds and whatever. So like your prestige on PvP is linked to your PvE account. You can't prestige in
gotcha.
PvE.
Yeah.
And apparently that is the way it's going to be. So if you want to prestige, you're only going to be able to do that on the PvP servers. It's like a special reward for PvP people. I personally think that that's misguided. I don't think putting prestige on like the people that are playing PvE in generality,
Just let him exist.
like just let them exist. Like you're not going to make them play PvP because of prestige in PvP. That requires you to get Kappa within one wipe cycle, right? The people who are going to do that are going to do that anyway on PvP. If you're like a PvE main, you're not suddenly going to be inspired to get Kappa in 6 months
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
you can prestige. Like it just doesn't make any sense, right? Like it's bonkers. So it's going to have absolutely
Yeah.
no impact on the number of people playing PvP, in my opinion.
I
So I think
mean,
they should just let them do it separately. But whatever.
I'm trying to think of the logic. I mean, I guess the logic is, oh, we need them to be interested in the game longer, so that way we can sell more microtransactions of some kind. So we need to have some type of incentive for them to want to play. We need some type of justification for them to log onto our servers. Because in PvE, you almost just like you can have like a experience, and then that's kind of it. But like if something is like live, like
Yeah.
I don't know, event or some type of like false FOMO scarcity, you know.
The thing is, though, that's
I
already in
just
PV. They put the events on PV anyway, and
Yeah. That's why it's
you
just
can
like
get the achievements in PVE as well,
right.
and you could do the events in PVE. And like I think they're missing out. When they do these special drops events and whatever, like they did that hideout skin last time, whatever. I'm just like, just let the people on PV. Like if you buy it for PvP, just put it on their PVE account. Like whatever, just let everybody get it. Like, and if you want people buying stuff, if you add cosmetics or whatever, PvE people can buy those things too. Like people would buy weapon skins and stuff. I'm sure. Like
Maybe it's more
if
like
people are prestiging in PvE, they're going to play PvE way longer. Which gives you more time to sell them stuff. I don't know. Seems
may-
misguided.
maybe it's more like this is supposed to be like, the pinnacle of Tarkov gamerness, and therefore if you do it via PvE, it's not legitimate. It's you didn't take the proper hardcore route in Nikita's eyes, wherever's calling the shots on this one. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's some technical issue, but I feel like it certainly can't be that. I mean, unless they really, I mean, you would think it would be pretty easy to merge these things together. At least you
Yeah, I
would
don't know.
want to have a simple system to do so to make your life easier.
Hmm.
I don't know. All
Yeah,
right,
I
let's
don't know.
stop
It also
speculating
like
about things we
it
don't
gives
know.
it gives more content to people too. Like if you prestige your PvE, you can also prestige your PvP. You can do both, right? It gives you something to do in both games. Anyway, so the other stuff, like the DLCs that are coming after 1.0, the Scav Life is still planned as like the first one. Supposedly you'll be able to
Hmm,
play as a boss in some format. There's gonna be like more
sick.
customization for your Scav. There'll be quests, that kind of thing. So that could be fun. I don't know exactly how that would work. Can you imagine, like, you load into a raid as a scav boss at the beginning? It's like you've got your guards. Like maybe you'd have like I don't know. It'd be interesting to have like players be playing as the boss, especially if the boss killing is still so required, right, for many players.
Mhm.
It's kind of makes it a bit more annoying in some ways. But every now and then you bump into somebody who's like play a scav version of Rashala or whatever. You're like, oh god, it's
God, it would
it's
RP
a completely
so
different
hard
scenario.
as like
Yeah, so I
killer
don't know what
just
that'll be like. Yeah, maybe you win by like you defend your territory for like 20 minutes or whatever. Like you got
yeah,
to
I
like
don't know
light
what
up a
you would
flare
do.
or something. It'd be quite cool for you to signal that um you're playing the character or whatever. So
Yeah,
like you have to fire yellow flare first, for example. There's some weird audio coming from your side. I don't know what it is.
I'm sorry, I'm fidgeting. So we find something that's not noisy for
It's
me to
like
fidget with.
it's like coming through the microphone.
Sorry,
um,
yeah.
it's all right. So I thought I'd tell you because you probably can't hear. So you imagine like you have to fire like a yellow flare at the beginning, and then when you do that, then you have to defend it for 20 minutes, and then all the PvP people on the server are like, "Oh, look, it's Player Scav playing Rashala or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go get him." Right? Like it kind of signifies that the boss is there and that they're being played by a real player, which is like kind of cool. So I can see how it could be fun and an enjoyable thing. Or it sort of gives away. Okay, the boss is there because of the yellow flare, but it's being controlled by an actual human. So you're like,
Mhm,
oh,
mhm.
we have to be careful about this. It makes it like more of a scenario. But like you're not allowed to go out of a certain radius or something. To complete a
Yeah,
mission or whatever. Like there's an area you can't leave, so they're going to be in there somewhere. I don't know. It could be cool. Could be cool.
yeah, I thought about I mean, this doesn't really fit what you were going for, but, like, one idea I had was, like, you have to like, if you wanna, quote, unquote, "extract," you have to, like, collect like, you have to kill a PMC and then take the dog tag, and the dog tag has to be, like, killed by you, Scav
Hmm.
boss, and then you could go to an extract, and you get, like, a bonus reward or something, but the more I think about that just now, it's like, you kill a you kill a PMC and then leave instantly, and it's just like, "No, come back, I need the helmet from Killa!" It's like, yeah, it's frustrating. So, yeah, maybe you're right,
Yeah,
defending an area, that'd be super cool.
something along those lines. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, they could, like, reuse the was it Corvad? The one where you had to, like,
Hmm.
use the generators and play loud music? They could
Oh
do
yeah.
that, just the loud music and, like, the somewhere on the map, and you have to just
Just plays like Russian hard bass. Would you have to just defend this thing? People like PMC storming in.
yeah. Uh,
It could be different for each boss too. So the Sturman scenario could be quite different to like the Kaban scenario, for example.
ooh, now you're
Kaban's more
really
like
cooking.
tower defense. Sturman is a little bit more. I don't know, something different. Maybe you'd just be like a local scav boss. Maybe it's not like a boss. It's like you're
Mhm.
a scav boss, because there's in the lore there's like 3 scav factions or something, and there's your bosses of those as
Right.
well. There's other bosses that we haven't seen. Ogrizok, he's got that base out in woods and things like that. So there's other bosses that aren't in the game right now. So it could just be that you could just be like a more powerful like scav
Oh,
leader, not
man.
necessarily like a trader boss.
You really got me cooking because now I'm thinking you take the, like, Reshala and you use the commands to, like, send the scavs in a particular like, what if you could just, like when you play
Hmm.
Reshala, you just almost you're playing, like what's that
Well, it
one?
goes. You press a button and it goes up into like third person, and you're playing
Yeah,
like Command and Conquer. Like
exactly. Yeah. Hold this point, shotgun at the door. That
got
would
the
be
like
so
patrolling around. You
good.
got all the control groups.
Yeah,
It's like,
that would be
oh my god, I would love that so much. That would
yeah, that would
be
be so
that would
that
be
would
my
totally
perfect game.
totally break every rule in Tarkov's book, but that would be so much fun. For,
Oh my
like, just
god,
that
yeah.
one character, though, and then you, like, play Killa, and you have, like, a stem that gives you an extra 500 HP or something ridiculous.
Yeah, but as soon as you stop sprinting, you die.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool. It's like, that one movie, I forget what it's called, it's, like, with whatever, but you exactly what you're saying, and when you stop sprinting, like, you start losing HP, so, like, you just gotta constantly keep like, you just shift W, it's the name of the game.
Yeah,
When you kill
yeah.
someone, your health you get, like, a bonus.
Yeah, it's like Doom or something. You kill
Yeah.
PMC, your health comes back. Yeah.
A shield recharging.
So much stupid stuff that could happen.
BSG should put us on the team. We got some great ideas here, Giga.
I know. I've just still just got in my head just like little Rashada with like a health bar above him, and like you're like controlling him around with the mouse. Oh my
I'll
god.
never forget last week when we talked about breaking arms and dropping guns. Just
Mm.
the freaking shenanigans of what that could look like. People just fumbling over their guns, butterfingers.
Okay, all right. So that's the Scav Life DLC. So a counter to the Prestige thing. Apparently, Ref is planned for PVE, so you will be able to use some of the barters and use your GP coins and stuff like that, which would be kind of cool. And the settings for Prestige, so you can Prestige and go into hardcore mode where you get maybe more XP or more skills or whatever it is, but you can't use the traders and stuff. Apparently, modes like that are still planned in some way, but we don't know exactly what. So that's the Russian interview. We'll just get through two more little things before we whiz on to the Labyrinth stuff, which was so they did an audio dev diary, which is basically them with like a bunch of different headsets testing guns and sound and all of this kind of thing, which is quite funny. If you skip somebody pointed this out to me that if you skip, because I kind of skimmed through, I didn't watch the whole thing. If you skip forwards to like a minute and 10 seconds in the video, you can see they actually do like a 50 and 150 meter suppressed AR-15. And somebody pointed out the irony of the fact that you can't actually hear a suppressed M4 at 150 meters in EFT.
Mm-hmm.
Because the audio cuts off after 100. Yet in the video they've tested it at 150 meters and show that it does actually, you can hear it, but in the game you can't.
Yeah, I wonder
So it's
why.
like, why is it like this? Like, you've done all the testing,
Mhm.
but it's not in the game. I don't
But that.
understand.
Maybe they wanted to gamify it and be like, okay, we'll just use this sound profile for this distance and this sound profile for this distance.
Yeah, maybe. But it seems an unusual thing for BSG to do, to say
I
like, oh,
agree.
it's 150 in real life, but we're going to gamify it. Like BSG never normally
Yeah, no, I agree.
agrees to do that. Maybe they just are not really aware. I don't know. It's like it's one of those things. It's one of those other things, which is like people are broadly aware of this,
Right.
but does it make it back necessarily to the BSG team in a way that they actually think, oh, maybe we need to do
Yeah.
something?
It's like the I can't I remember I feel like I remember this some time ago where Veritas and Jesse were talking on the podcast and
Mm.
Nikita wasn't aware about how damage mitigation worked on like black limbs or like there was some type of like black limb saying that
I know there
Veritas
was
and the
definitely
community.
the bleed to black, but you're still
That was it.
alive.
That was it.
That
Yeah.
was he
We
was
all
yeah
just
he wasn't
thought
aware of
that
that.
was how the thing worked, and Nikita's like, "Oh no, that's a bug," and we're just like, "What? that? I,
Yes, and
what?
then it never got changed, so it's still like that now today.
Wait, what's the bug then? Now I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore."
No. It's exactly what you think, right? But like Veritas said to him, "You can get a black thorax, but still be alive because it bleeds you to 0 HP. But because you don't take any extra damage, you don't die." And Nikita said, "Oh, that's a bug. We'll have to look at it." And
Talking
then
about the
nothing ever
head
changed.
specifically,
All the thorax, both of them.
or the thorax? Okay.
But nothing. But they never did anything about it. It's exactly the same
Yeah,
as it was when that conversation occurred. You
yeah,
can
that is
still
a
be
weird.
bled down to 0. So it's like, was it a bug in the end? Is that the intended design? Did they just forget? Did Nikita not talk to the right person? Did it go to the bottom of the priority list?
That's got to be a bug
I don't know.
because I know, like, hydration doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah, if
Like,
your hydration or
you
energy
take.
is 0, but you actually take damage. You take like actual damage points across your whole body, and it's not even proportional to the limbs either. So your head will go black first from that. But yes, no, you are right actually. Like bleeds work differently to like hydration and energy loss. Like bleeds
Hmm.
won't kill you until you literally get to 0 PMC HP.
I wonder if it's because it's decimals. Because I am pretty sure hydration and such is like 1 HP spread evenly throughout, whereas
Yeah.
with the bleed, At least one of those is like 1.75 per second. Like it's some type of decimal number. I wonder, or maybe that's what it is in total. And like, yeah, I don't know. There's no way
I'm
of
not really sure.
telling this
I'm not
stuff.
really sure, but yeah, it stops flowing. It stops flowing through. So anyway, but it's confusing. It is confusing with some of these things. But anyway, what were we talking about to get us onto that topic? I don't remember.
Oh, suppressors and 100 meters and 150
Oh yeah,
meters, sound profile, audio stuff, dev
yeah,
diary.
exactly. Yeah, so I don't know whether it's even made it onto Tarkov community or whatever, because I think it has done in some ways. I don't know whether it's so specific though, so precise, because I think people do want suppressors to be audible from a bit further away. I would say that probably is the prevailing thought process. I mean, going from 100 to 150, I think, is definitely not a bad thing. You know, they're a
Yeah,
lot
I don't think
quieter than
it's
normal
that
shots.
much.
Yeah, it's not much more. It's not that much more, and it stops the map from just being like silent though, from
Hmm.
unless you're literally in 100 meters. Like it's so weird when you know, like, oh, this guy actually just can't even hear my shots. Like I can see, and 100 meters is not
Yeah.
that far in Tarkov. Like it is far most of the time, but like it's not that
Mm,
far in the set. It's not that far for it's far for a fight, but it's not that far for a audio hearing range distance on most maps. Is kind of my point.
yeah, especially when you're talking about like
So yeah,
gunshots.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we will see. But yeah, it is quite funny that they put it in the video. Like, oh, you can hear it at 150, but like you can't in the game. It is quite entertaining.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, couple of bits related now to the Labyrinth. So Nikita posted one thing this week, which was a video of what I freaked out and was just like, oh my goodness, it's a nuclear silo. Like, what's going on? It's a missile silo. And it's because it looks like, from my perspective, I thought it was looking like upwards through a tunnel, or like downwards through a tunnel, one or the other.
Hmm.
But then when you actually look at it a bit more closely, it's the D2 tunnel into reserve with the
Oh yeah,
wooden
it's spinning.
boards.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
That's actually
spinning in a
funny.
way that you wouldn't expect if you were traveling along the way you normally travel along it.
Yes. I think that's funny because I think the first time I saw it, like at first glance, I thought it was on reserve as well. But instead of the D2 tunnel, I thought it was going up the spiral staircase to Dome. I thought that's what it
Hmm.
was. But then you can see the plank and then the red beams across, which, like, yeah, that's a pretty good signal for what that is. But yes, you don't typically see this view. And also, it's weird because there's like a little bit of post effects going on with like reflections on a lot of the surfaces. So it almost looks like there's lights scattered about this cylinder that you're gazing through.
Mm. Yeah, on those edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. No one really knows. So nobody knows yet what this has got to do with anything right now. Actually, I would say no one knows what this has got to do with literally anything. I know that there was some people talking about this, about how this tunnel might actually almost be a bit out of place to be just like on its own. Like it must, like
Hmm.
maybe it's connected to something else. I mean, BSG's got artistic license to do whatever, but you know, there was a couple of
Of
people talking
course.
about like how realistically you would only make a tunnel like this if it's going to be quite long, because the machinery for it is quite pretty hefty and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it could be something else, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe it connects to more things. I don't know. It's a bit confusing as to what this means, but some people were speculating that they might make a new labyrinth entrance down in D2 somewhere, which would be interesting. If it was at the end of that tunnel, that would probably be okay. I wouldn't really want it to be like also in D2 or whatever. Like, don't make more people go down into D2. The camping's already bad enough as it is. So yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. There was another random point about the labyrinth that was made by Sergey, who I'm like now following a bit more closely because he's posting a bit more on Twitter. He's one of the senior game designers, and he does stream sometimes as well. And he said that they've apparently, if you complete all the labyrinth quests except Lightkeeper, you now get easier access to the Lightkeeper. So because there's like one part I think where you have to do a Lightkeeper thing for it, and so it gives you the dongle. You get sort of jumped ahead to the dongle bit, I believe. So you don't have to necessarily do all of the previous parts, which is, I'm actually really close to that bit, so it's kind of like, annoying. Maybe I could have just done the Labyrinth quest instead. But the Labyrinth quests are quite difficult. And also about the Labyrinth as well. I mean, we'll go into it a little bit more in a second. But he also pointed out saying some of you having trouble finding the Labyrinth documents, which is an important quest item. Look a bit closer. There's plenty of sneaky spots, and he's like shown, the pixel hunt style, the usual Tarkov style pixel hunt box with it's mostly embedded within the box. Documents like hidden underneath a cardboard box, kind of thing. Well, so you gotta really nose
Where's this
into stuff,
at?
classic Tarkov style.
This is on the Labyrinth itself.
Yes, this is in the
Okay,
Labyrinth. Yeah,
very cool.
yeah.
I've never seen green lights before when I've seen footage of the map. There's some type of green lights being casted onto some of the scene here.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I don't know whether this is still valid. I don't know when this is valid until, but if you put TikTok 1M, TikTok 1, the number 1, and the letter M into the launcher, you get 1,000,000 rubles and a free Labyrinth card.
Oh.
For what it's worth. I don't know how long that is valid until, but you get that because they reached 1,000,000 followers on TikTok, which is why they did that. But that's actually kind of useful because you need to get a Labyrinth card to complete one of the quests to get into the Labyrinth in the first place, and it very slightly short circuits one of the quests to do that, which is kind of handy. Okay, so the Labyrinth itself, and what I can't remember. Like, where did we get to last week? I think they literally just released it, right? And they released the
yes.
image, and I think some people had just started getting into it, something along those lines. So, let me find something that I didn't have up before, which is so there's like a few quests to get into it in the first place, which actually ends up not being that bad. So it starts with this with a quest called Shady Contractor, where you basically go to a car on ground zero near the middle, grab that and take it out. And then you have to just visit a few places around various maps. Tow Group HQ, some places on Interchange, 2 places on Streets, and a place on Shoreline, which is not that hard at all. Then you get Hidden Layer, where you have to locate a good lead related to Knossos LLC. And there's a guaranteed key spawn in a few places in the East Wing on Shoreline. So you visit those and grab the Knossos LLC key. And then you open the door. And when you open the door, there's then a hole in the ground. So where you open the door is in the West Wing. So you go into the basement area by the pool. In the more central side, so not the like very far edge. If you went in the middle, sort of in the middle area, behind one of the doors, that's the Knossos LLC key door, and you open it up, and there's like a hole in the floor, like it's been blown up with an explosive of some kind, and you drop down into the hole, and the Labyrinth door is down there in a little short corridor down at the bottom. Now, for that one, you basically get to it, and then you don't know how to get in. There's a whole like BTR quest line which you could do, which I think gives you like Ragman barter, but basically you can just ignore that. You have to like give a moonshine to the BTR and all this stuff. But you can basically ignore that. I waited two raids in a row waiting for the BTR, and he just like never appeared onwards, and I was really annoyed because it takes half an hour to get that one open, but it takes an hour and a half for the other quest to appear. So I was like, well, we may as well just try and get the BTR done. And they just like literally didn't appear. And I was just like, this is so irritating. There's nothing I can even do. I want to progress with the quest line, but I can't do anything. So anyway, so I just gave up on that side, but it turns out you don't need to do it anyway. If you do Forced Alliance with Therapist, where that's the one which says find a way to get behind the health resort bunker door on Shoreline. So that's like finding one of the key cards. So you get that done by virtue of having the card from the TikTok 1M code.
Okay, wait. So the therapist one, you're talking? Are you talking about the scav bunker near the mountain?
No.
Where's that?
But sorry, what do you mean?
You said where key card for?
Oh yeah, so the therapist one. So Forced Alliance. So after you've got the Knossos key and you open up the pool underneath Resort, there's like a door by the pool. When you go in,
oh, by the pool. Okay.
Yeah, when you go into this room, there's another door with a key card swipe on it. behind
Oh,
it.
gotcha. Sorry. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you use the key and you get in, and then you don't have the key card. So it's like, okay, that's the quest complete. Then the next one is find out how to get behind the bunker door, which is the key card door.
That's gotcha. Sorry, you
So at
said
that
bunker,
point,
and my mind was thinking
yeah.
about a different one.
So at that point, you need the Labyrinth key card, like the Labyrinth card, to get
Gotcha.
in. It's like a Labs card, but with a Labyrinth like double-headed axe thing on it. It's like the one that we saw from the trailer. So you need to get one of those. So you can just get the like if you get the one from the TikTok 1M thing, that just completes the quest. But then there's one that you get after this, which is called the Tarkov Butcher. I think you get it at the same time. So you get the Tarkov Butcher and another one called Offensive Reconnaissance. But the Tarkov Butcher one is pretty easy. You just go down to ground zero and you grab a chemical container. It's in the underground bit. You go and grab a chemical container from the back of a truck, and then you take it back to therapist, and that then gives you the purchase of the Labyrinth. You get 5, and also you can buy them from therapist. So at that point, like once you've done that one, you're basically good to go because you can buy Labyrinth cards 2 per reset. You get given 5 to start with. You have 1 from the code, and then you can just start doing Labyrinth. I haven't done any more of the outside quests after this. I've just been going into the Labyrinth itself. So you then go down, the first thing then at this point, it's like, right, you're going to take with you an antidote of some kind because there is poison in there. So you take one of the XTGs because augmenting doesn't do it anymore. So blue blood and XTG stims both do it. So you could take like some of them. It's good to take multi-tool if you can, because there's like wire traps, or not wire traps, grenade tripwire things. So you can use that to defuse them.
Why is the blue blood good again?
Blue blood's got antidotes on it now these days.
Oh,
so you can use either that or XTG. There's some poison spikes basically that like barb you, and it's annoying. So you take those with you. You then need to take the outdoor key, the key card itself, and then whatever stuff you're going to bring with you. Typically high pen ammo and like big mags. And you're going to head to Shoreline and try to get down into exactly where we talked about before, next to the pool. Now the problem with this is that there's other people who try to get in there. That's fine. You've also got the issue of people who don't want to go in there, who just want to sit there and camp it or raid, which is just like it's mind blowing to me that people actually want to do this, but they do. So you have to fight your way through. Yeah,
people are like camping in the underground pool area.
Yeah, people are just camping in the underground pool area, waiting for people to turn up to try and get into the Labyrinth.
I don't think I've like ever had a PvP fight down in there. Like maybe the gym room once or twice, but like never the pool room. Like nobody goes down there to like.
Exactly.
It's a rotation spot at the most. So that's really interesting.
So it's interesting for sure, but it is pretty annoying when. Yeah. I mean, I went in. I think I can't remember which one it was. I went in one of them later, and was just like, I was like really, 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 really uber careful. And someone in chat was just like, "Oh, I'm starting to think you're being like too paranoid." And then I just got like jobbed by 2 PMCs. And like one of them was like in the room, one of them was in the room one side, one of them was in the room the other side. And like I walked into the toilet, like bathroom area, and like there was one. Fortunately, I managed to kill both of them. But like I've had other ones where there's been people down there, and then there was somebody coming from behind, so I just had to push, and then there was people there, and I got killed. Like it's difficult. So there's kind of 2 schools of thought. You either get there like as soon as it depends on your spawn, but like if you get there as soon as you physically can,
and just you're the last.
yeah, exactly.
Classic Tarkov.
Or you just wait and you just chill for 20 minutes and then like 15, 20 minutes and going afterwards. And like it's one of those things where if you're first there, you might have to fight somebody else who's equally geared for the Labyrinth, right? So you have to be quite geared for the Labyrinth. So you're going to be fighting against somebody else who's also like pretty thick. Unless you can sort of VoIP to them and be like, "Yo, like you go, I'll go." Like that can also work. You could also hit a team of campers who've like sprinted there as well.
Do you have to do like an animation to open the door as well?
It's like a little thing, but it's more the 20-second timer.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Because people can like because it's a transit, so people can people can slot the grenades down the hole and stuff while you're like in the timer and stuff.
Awful. So it's my god.
Yeah, honestly, the shoreline bit is like probably the worst bit.
Yeah, because you could just like ping pong it off the wall and down into the hole, and they're just dead, right? Like You just can't.
Yeah, it's a bit like there's quite a lot of garbage, and it's like you can't like stand the other side, so it is kind of awkward. Like most of the time, they won't actually get it to you because the corridor's like not long, but
Okay.
it's like it's just long enough that like usually it is possible to do it, but
Okay.
often people fail to do it. So
Okay.
it's not the worst ever, but like I know I
It's
haven't
up
like been
there.
sieged down there. It's normally just like getting in the room that's the problem. Um, so yeah, it's like hit and miss there whether you actually do that or not. I mean, because I've been doing SJ6. SJ6 is so there's quite a lot of sims in the labyrinth, but I've been but SJ6 is the one that's just been like going up and up and up and up and up like in price. So SJ6 is like really expensive. Everything else is like dirt cheap. Yeah, Axel Doom in chat's just reminded me. Have you seen Stankrat's clip of killing 7 PMCs in the hole? I have. Yeah, Stankrat got killer 7 literally camping that hole, which is pretty disgusting. But I've
I'm pretty
started
sure
doing
that's a Geneva Convention violation. I'm pretty
exactly.
sure.
I've been doing SJ6 3 BTG so that I'm like even faster. Like never run out of stamina up until the place. But yeah,
I'm
depending on your
sorry.
spawn, I mean, sometimes you just don't even you just don't spawn in a good place, so it's just hard to get in there.
SJ6 plus 3PTG?
Yeah, at the same
Okay.
time, yeah. So
I
the
wasn't
two
sure if that was
plus
one word
one.
or two. Or
Mm,
yeah. Like, is there
yeah, because
another
people are like, oh,
new
maybe you should do
SJ
Mildonian,
sim?
maybe you should do Trimadol, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess
Right.
you could do Trimadol, but BBTG is a lot cheaper and like doesn't destroy your stamp or your health. But I don't think it matters because I think once you transit, I think all those status effects are gone anyway. I
Yeah.
think. Anyway,
I would
so you get
imagine.
so you get to the door and
Okay.
there's nobody there for once, and you go in and you spawn in the labyrinth. So the labyrinth is a 5-player map, and you spawn. If you look at the map, you spawn in one of the 5 rooms in each of the corners.
Chamber 1, Chamber 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, 5.
each of them has got a trap of some kind. So it's either steam or fire coming across the exit, a toxic pool / puddle across the exit,
Mhm.
or the hilarious one is the shotguns one because it's really not very obvious. Like all of these traps will kill you. Like there's no way out. You have to figure out what to do, and each one of them has got a different mechanism to fixing it. So the steam one, like the steam one is you have to go. I mean, it's steam or fire, I forget. But basically one of them you have to like go and find a wheel to then put back on like a vent to then turn the wheel to turn the steam off, and then you can go through. Like one of the toxic pool ones there's a grate connected to like a like cable, and you have to go and find a blowtorch through a kind of like cover which you open up, and then there's a switch on the other side which pulls the gate down so you can then walk across the toxic pool. Like it's stuff like that.
This
So
sounds
it's
really fun for like people first on the scene solving the puzzle, you know?
yeah, it's
Like
still pretty cool.
frustrating, yeah, but like
I was kind of late, and I mean, I think it's actually less frustrating after seeing a couple of people. Like once you know that you won't, you have to solve it. Because I think that's
mhm.
what got most people annoyed is that people try to
Yeah,
like crawl under the, under the stuff or jump over
sure,
the
sure.
pool or whatever. It's just like no, you can't get over. Like you will just die. So once you know, like you have to solve the puzzle, then it's like okay, this is kind of cool. And go and through the thing, and then you solve your room, and then you can open your outer door. So already there are some, and then you go into the labyrinth, right? So already there are some kind of issues that started to crop up. Things like your trap is the blocker. The outer door is openable by anybody. So in certain
Wait,
rooms,
wait. Say that whole sentence again.
so
Your
the outer
trap?
door of your chamber,
Mhm.
that is just a freely open door. It's not contingent upon the actual solving of the puzzle.
Oh
What blocks you in the
no.
room is the steam, the fire, the pool, whatever. So other people can't come through the trap. But if somebody else solves their puzzle quickly and runs to your spawn, they can open the outer door and they can kill you in your trap if you're like taking ages, for example. That hasn't happened to me, even though I was taking ages. Like one person was like, "Oh, you're stood in the worst possible spot for like organizing your loot or whatever." And I was like, because I came. This is the one. That's the one I came through with 2 people's gear, and I hadn't brought. There was the two exit campers, right? And I hadn't brought any money, so I couldn't transit their stuff back to stash while I went from one map to the other. So I turned up in the
Oh.
labyrinth with like 2 players worth of gear. So
Oh,
I was like,
no.
well, I'm just going to organize their stuff here. And someone in chat was just like, that's like the worst possible place you could organize it. And I was like, what,
Mhm.
in my trap room, like in the middle of the corridor? Like, what's the problem? And they're like, no, because you're facing the outer door. If somebody else, because like you're taking ages, right? If somebody else comes and just opens the door, they're just going to shoot you through the fire trap or whatever,
Yeah, they're
or
like the
over the
second
toxic pool or whatever.
they're the second trap. Like, they're the second
Yeah.
gate blocker.
So you kind of need to know that. Apparently, there's another one. Spins reminded me in chat of this. Apparently, there's one where
Oh my
oh god,
god.
and the spawns for the items you need are dynamic, so that it's not the same every time. So you have to look for
Uh-huh.
them, which is good. But in the fire room is like 2 long corridors, and the fire blocks off one, and you can go up this other corridor, and the key can spawn, and the key can spawn along like a pipe somewhere, and you
Mhm.
can walk. It's technically possible to walk into the fire room from another spawn and grab the key through the mesh and leave,
I
which
love
then
that.
means that the person is then trapped in there for all eternity.
I mean, that's awful, but also
Yeah. So there are some where I would have maybe changed it so that the door doesn't open until the puzzle's complete.
Yeah.
If it was me,
I mean, that
um,
seems yeah, because you
yeah,
could just, like oh, man, that sounds really
yeah,
have you
and then
done the
even
dirty, or have you been done dirty too?
I have not had it either way round, really.
Okay.
Actually, I've been because most of the time I've been in each room. I think I've only been in one of the rooms twice so far. I've been put into each of the different traps, so I didn't actually know how they worked when I was going in. So I've only been able to speed run it once. And even then, I just got myself into a good position in the labyrinth rather than like running to somebody else's spawn because I don't know the map layout that well to be able to abuse it. But I have had the next level of it, which is
Mhm.
you open the door and go, right, which way do I need to go? Step out and instantly get shot in the head because somebody's spawn camping the corridor outside. So they
Yeah.
didn't come into my actual spawn, but like they know you're in
Close
there because the
enough.
door's shut. Yeah, like it's this guaranteed information thing.
Uh, yeah.
So one of the other issues, just before I go on to like the rest of the labyrinth, one of the other problems with the whole setup in general, is what do you think happens when you go in with 2 people?
You're split?
You're split, okay, which is that's kind of interesting and kind of fun. What do you think
Sure.
happens if you go in with 5 people?
I would hope to God you're split.
Yeah, you're split. But then what does that mean about the map? There are only 5 slots. So there are no enemies. It's just AI. So it's PvE lobby when you go in as 5. If you go in as 4, there's one poor sod in a room, and because you all know which room you're in, you could just say, "Oh, well, there's one guy in this room." You have perfect information on where the only enemy spawned.
Oh my gosh.
So playing it solo is like really, really hard in comparison. Like playing it as a
Oh,
5-man, like
yeah.
yeah, some people might die to the AI or whatever, but like playing it as a 5-man is like infinitely easier than playing it
Oh my god.
as a solo because you're all in your own room. There are no other PMCs. It's just you lot. So
Yeah,
I
don't
really don't
ever
think that they should have let you play it as 5 and put you all into the same lobby. I almost feel like it should have
yeah,
just either split you all up or capped the teams at a certain size or something. Because like the 5-man thing is
that's
like
kinda weird. That's, like,
yeah, the
old
5-man thing is like,
factory.
okay, you're making it like really easy. Fine. Like I don't really care. The 4-man thing is really annoying because the 4-man thing is like there's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
guy in there who's just like has no information on you. They don't know that you're a 4-man. You know exactly where they spawn.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're just dicked. There is nothing they could do. They're just completely screwed.
yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah, so that's like slightly annoying.
yeah, yeah. What else can you say about that?
Exactly. So anyway, if you do manage to get into a fair lobby, then you solve your puzzle, you run out into the area, and then it's not that big. Yeah, 250k key card. Yeah, exactly. So it's expensive, right? It's expensive to go, and you need good stuff. So you go out into the area. There's it's pretty cool, the whole design of it. It all looks sort of the same, so it's a bit confusing. I mean, especially I'm a little bit directionally challenged, so I do find it quite, even though it's quite a small map, like it's going to take me a bit of time to still figure it out. One really huge piece of advice is that you can play Shoreline offline mode with the keycard, and you can transit in offline mode into the
Oh,
labyrinth, and you can explore it without being online with other PMCs, which is nice. Even if you put AI off, they're
Mhm.
still there on Labyrinth when you transit to it in offline mode. So you will still have Uber Tagilla, Uber Killer, and the various followers. So you got to kind of gear yourself up as if you're playing
Man,
it PVE. But
honestly,
at least you can explore it on your own.
this would be fun with, like, friends, just, like
Yeah, it would
which you could do in PvE, yeah? You just have to
easily.
meet the minimum requirements, which is
Yeah, yeah. You
kinda
just have to have a Labrys card. It's not
wonder
that bad.
yeah, it's just, I have to grind to that. It's, like, the annoying part, and then I have to convince 4 other friends to play Tarkov. That's probably the biggest ask of them all. That's the hardest challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so you can wander around, but yeah, the map itself, it's as you've seen, it's like sort of dungeony, labyrinthy. It's of that
It
ilk.
looks
There's a
amazing.
It does look amazing. It's really, really cool. There's like floor traps on the ground. So they're like spike traps. Sometimes they're covered, sometimes they're not. So it's dynamic as to which ones are covered or which ones aren't. They're pretty obvious. They're like
Oh,
big spike pits. If you fall in there, you just slowly die. It doesn't kill you straight away, which I find really bizarre. You're like stuck down there as if you're impaled, and your health just goes like it just goes like redder, 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 and then you die. Which is a bit. You're just kind of like stuck in
can
the
you
spike pit,
shoot
like, oh,
while
I'm just dead.
you're in there?
I think so.
Yeah.
So you could technically kill somebody from up there, but I mean, it's like 5 seconds and you're dead in there.
Mm.
Um, so there's those things around. Then there's right in the middle, probably the ones that you've seen pictures of maybe is the nuke room. That was the one
The
that Axel
nuke
was showing.
room.
Yeah, so there's like the prototype
Oh,
weapon or bomb room, which is in the middle,
yeah,
and
this image
it looks
here.
like a bit like a lab. That's where those crates are that you were saying earlier. Like, oh, I've not seen the green, with the boxes and the lab documents, those things. That's where that is in this prototype weapon bomb room. So it's like that's the focal point of the labyrinth. Is this presumably nuclear device or EMP device or whatever it is that's in the center, which is why everybody started going crazy. All of the Sons of Soon people started going mad when it's like, oh, it's the EMP, it's the nuke is real, etc., etc. So if you step into, that's like the assembly room. Outside of that is sort of the main area.
Mhm,
If you step anywhere within the like dotted area,
mhm.
a really awful alarm goes off.
Yeah, I was
So
tempted to
everybody
play
knows that
it.
you're in that area. Yeah, and it's like it's really creepy, and they've done it really, really well. There's a bunch of alarm turner offers on the walls. Apparently, you can press them before you even step into that area, and the alarm won't go off. So that's kind of good. It is. I find it annoying having the alarm on because I can't like hear what's going on in there. But yeah, so you can do that, and then you can go into the assembly room. Like there's like a bunch of documents in there. Apparently, one of the quests is like get 5 of these documents found in raid. So I went out the one time where I had a good run and went in. I didn't see any in there, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And unfortunately for me, it was like the very first run that I did. So the very first run, I managed to kill all 4 other PMCs and Tagilla, which was shocking to me. But then I didn't know what to do because I wasn't expecting to just like win a lobby
Yeah.
on the very first run. So I was like, where do I even go? Like I'm terrified. Like I was trying to look at the map and then not, I was terrified about the AI respawning and then shooting me, and I had loads of loot. People were like, no, there's still loads of loot left. I'm just like, I know, but I'm like full and I've got loads of stuff. And I don't want to just die now to some stupid thing.
Yeah, how do you
Um,
get out? Is it the green X?
so the green X is just like on the floor. I don't know what that is. There's a big W. It says the way up, which is just to the right of the assembly room. That's the main
Oh.
extract. So
Huh.
that opens up after, I don't know if it says on
Oh,
here.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
after
saw
15
this.
minutes. So there's like a sound that plays. There's like an obvious sound, like a grinding sort of, almost a bit like a very small and shorter version of the reserve door opening for D2. The when you
Uh-huh.
press the button, bit like that, and so you know that the door's open. But yeah, after 15 minutes, the way up opens out. There's another one which is called Ariadne's Path, which is in the lower left corner of like the main area, which you need a key for, and you get that from a scav or something from one of the AIs under there, and then you can go out of the alternative exit. So that's like the secret extract for the map, and that's over by the torture room, which is basically a marked room, and you have to get the torture room key from one of the places. There's like little red dots on the map, so they're scattered around.
Is that the
If you want to
one
get
with
like the marked room key,
is that the one with the Minecraft pig?
I don't know actually. I'm not
So
sure.
Someone provided context. Remember last week where I showed you that video of like that one BSG Tarkov basement guy that had like an oscillating
Oh,
machine?
oh yeah. I don't think it's there.
Apparently, that is a
Oh, sorry. Corpse room is there's the March room one. Sorry, corpse room, not torture room.
yeah. Apparently, that's a Minecraft sheep machine, and they posted a. I opened this in a open link. Yes, apparently that's what that was trying to
Oh,
replicate, which I have no idea what unseen horrors are going on. But anyways, sorry, just thought that
gonna
was
get us
important
banned.
important to share.
Banned off YouTube. Um,
In Minecraft.
yeah, yes. So yeah, so there's a couple of bits there. So there's alarms. There's a key for a special exit. There's a key for a
Mhm.
special marked room down there. There's like just loot everywhere. It's like full of stims. So the one successful run that I did, I literally haven't extracted again after that very first run that I did, which is just very frustrating. But I brought like an extra injector case, the big bag and stuff because there's so much stuff down there. Literally all of the shelves are just littered with like there's like vertexes. There's obviously lower level stuff as well, like what they call like pressure gauges and stuff like that. But there's just like streamer items everywhere, Vibing shoes, like golden roosters. There's stims all over the place, so that's why all the stims prices are like really low at the moment because there's just stims everywhere in there. Inside you've got the Shadow of Tagilla, which is Tagilla with the big thing. You go and kill him. And then sometimes killer spawns afterwards, like a special version of killer. And then they've also got like a bunch of guards as well. I think there's 6 initially, and then there can be more that spawn later on. And they're pretty hard to kill. So Tagilla's class 6'd up to the 9s. So the things that you want to go in with, ideally, big mag versions of M61 in whatever gun, full auto gun of your choosing, MDR, SCAR, or FAL. The other things that work is various AKs, RD704s, mutants, AKMs of anything of that ilk with BP, but ideally MIA AP. You can get MIA AP off a killer and stuff. So there's like if you do survive, you can. It's almost like a virtuous circle. If you survive, you get like a bunch of ammo from the bosses, and they can then fund your next set of raids because you've then got like super high pen ammo from the bosses. So that works, but BP's still fine. BP and PP mixture. People have been going in with CPJ and MCXs with big mags. That's what I tried that one time, and it was working until it didn't when I got jammed with the 100 rounder. That was probably because I was memeing with the 100 rounder. I would say like 5.6A1 probably doesn't cut it. The damage is probably just a bit too low. That and PP, it's probably a little too low on like damage and pen, but like some people have said they've been able to make it work. You have to hit the bosses like a billion times to actually do that. I saw one guy in there with APSX. So you want something that's like decent pen. I think M61 is probably the most accessible thing that I've got access to, other than maybe BP and SP6 from Ref. So M61 is perfect because it just goes straight through the armor of all the bosses and kills them. And it's also obviously good against PMCs and it's got high damage, so it's good against the scavs. So that works. One of the most annoying thing, I don't know on the map whether you saw, there's all these like concertina sort of chain things on the floor, which you can see on the edges of each one. If you stand on those, they like barb you, and those are the bits that give you those are the things that give you poison. So if you look along like the edges of a lot of the rooms, there's this kind of like mesh section, and if you stand on that, you will sometimes get poisoned. So you have to use the stim, but it like slows you down a bunch. Like I got ruined by that one time making a play. And when I made my play, I stood on the barb, and then I couldn't run anymore, and it was annoying and got me killed ultimately against a duo, which was sad. Like people play really, really, really carefully and really slowly in there, understandably.
Yeah,
So
I
if
mean,
you're
I can
making
see if you're
noise,
like running a rep bout and just constantly getting dinged and nicked.
yeah, like you just have to play super careful. Like you can play faster if you're good, but people just kind of know where you are. Otherwise, it's very jinky, turny. It's very tight.
Yeah,
The combat's a lot like Arena, actually, in many ways. Like Last Hero is really
yeah. I
good
mean,
practice
this is
for
like
Labyrinth, in some sense.
just corridors and small box rooms. The map,
Yeah.
like it's all it
Hmm.
really is.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good. It's fun. It's really fun overall. It's really fun.
Hmm.
It's just a bit frustrating, like trying to get in and like getting inside is just so difficult.
Yeah.
And just everything that comes with that, which is why I genuinely think it would probably be more fun on PvE. Actually, like PvP, it's challenging and it's interesting because it's so challenging, and you're up against like top tier people with all top tier ammo. But the odds are stacked against you. You've got to make it into the room in the first place through other people who want to make it in the room, and also the people who are camping there just to try and take people's good gear. Once you're in there, especially as solo, you're up against 4 other players. You've got that thing of you don't know how many people are in a team. You don't know whether they're in a 4-man or 2-2s or 1 and 3 or like 4 other solos. What's the chance that you're going to kill all of them? Even if you're good, right? What's the chance that you're going to kill all of them as well and basically have it free? And also there's bosses in there. There's like, to killer and maybe to killer and sort of like raidery style AI. So even the people I've spoken to who've done it as a 5-man, two people, 1 or 2 people often get killed by the AI. Even with no other PMCs. So like it's tough to get in and actually do a successful run and leave. It's not easy. It's really, really not easy. So it's probably more fun in some ways, either 5-manning it so that you're just playing all 5 of you versus the PvE, and then playing it on PvE modes itself. Because even if you're playing solo on PvE, there are no AI PMCs in the Labyrinth. So it's just you against the AI. It is hard because you're the only target, so all the AI run at you. But that kind of happens to you on PvP anyway if you're the first person out of your room, in some ways. So yeah, it's good. It's certainly good, and it's certainly interesting. There are downsides. There are things that are wrong with it. Maybe some game design stuff that I would change after having played it for a bit. But it's definitely interesting. Like, it's cool to get like another run. In some ways, it's sort of, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where you go like, oh, it'd be so cool if you could just like go there. But it sort of adds to the stakes the fact you've got to get there first. Like, I know that people don't really like doing the run through Shoreline and get to the room and all this stuff, but it does like limit the amount that you can get in there. It's like rate limited, so you only get so many chances, and that in and of itself makes the area itself like more worthwhile in some ways, more scary or whatever. Like if you can just you're doing a speed run and you can just press N to reset the game back to the beginning each time you make a mistake or whatever. That's like it's just a different game style, right?
Yeah.
Like part of this is that you don't get to practice it that much. You just kind of have to go in. It's unfortunate though, because then you play against a lot of other people who've like gone in there a lot, so it's a lot about like time and grinding, which is why.
Or you get pitted against 4 different PMC, 4 enemy
Yeah.
PMCs, and you're the solo.
Yeah, exactly. Now, like I played it probably 5 times. You're making that noise again, by the way.
Sorry. So
we played
bad.
it like 5 times, and then I was like, okay, I've been in there enough now that I've had like the the intended experience. I'm gonna go and play the map offline now and like actually just understand the map, because at this point, just dying because you don't know the map is a bit frustrating. Once you've gone all that way, brought all that gear, like gone in there, waited all that time, like it takes you anywhere from, it takes you at least 10 minutes, right, to like do all the gearing up, get into Shoreline, sprint to the hole, and then transit, and then you've got to wait another 3-4 minutes to actually get into Labyrinth. So it's like probably 15 minutes minimum, more like 25-30 if you're not first and you have to kind of wait to go and like do another attempt. So I was like, right, I want to make each attempt more worthwhile now at this point. So I'm going to go and actually like look at the map offline. I don't find fighting against the AI actually that difficult. Like if you know how to fight against the AI, there's nothing really any different about it. You fire and pull back, just make sure you've got big mags. Like big mags are they're just necessary down there. Honestly, I think 25s is fine if you're running M61. Anything more than that, you probably want 50s if you're doing BP and PP, and anything like MCX style, you want 60s or whatever. But yeah, you can get away with the slightly smaller mags for the MDR and the SCAR and the FAL. The FAL's great because the FAL is the FAL is the only one of those that has easy access 50 rounders. So shorty FAL, I actually think is my go-to of this event personally. It's way cheaper than the MDR and the SCAR once you include the 50 rounder drum, and you can take like 2 or 3 of them. It's like a very cheap barter for the FAL, and because it's such short range, you can go for the short FAL. Like the recoil doesn't matter that much because it's so close range. Most of it's point fire. Yeah, it's just a good gun for it, I think. Good gun. Which is kind of interesting because when we were playing the zombie event, I ended up using the shorty FAL for that as well. Like the FAL's very good at these like extreme events. You want like rapid fire, high capacity magazines with huge flash damage. Oh, you just go ultra nozzler to kill the zombies. Oh, now we need like super high pen, massive mags, something that's not going to be too expensive. Oh, we'll go shorty FAL with M61 instead. It's like very, I don't know, it's very good for these extreme scenarios, the file. So yeah, I think I think that probably covers it really. I mean, I'd like to have another couple of tries, but it's tricky. There's like some interesting strats that I've heard from people being like, you just sit in your room and don't ever solve the puzzle until like the last 5 minutes. So wait until everybody else goes, and then you leave at the last minute because people can't come past your trap. You have to solve your trap. So you
But
just
why?
like load.
But then you miss out on everything, like all the loot, all the stuff.
Well, the thing is, there's so much loot in there that even if four other players loot it, there'll
Okay.
probably still be loot left for you. And most of the time, it's not a 4-man, right? Most of the time, it's like a solo and like a duo and maybe another solo, or maybe it's a
Oh, so the
trio and one other solo.
lobbies.
So
Oh, the lobby's always
like
full, but
solo. The lobby's probably always. I don't know if it is always full actually, but the lobby's probably always full. But like
I see what
people are
you're
killing
saying
each
though.
other, the AI is killing the other PMCs. So there's usually only like 2 or 3 PMCs at most, other than you, who are going to be looting. And there's so much loot, they literally just couldn't take it all. So you probably do miss out on the high value stuff in the nuke room. Like if you're looking for the Labyrinth folders or whatever, you probably do need to go there and fight people. But if you just want to make money and go there and like experience that, then yeah, you could probably just wait in your spawn room and like wait till the end and then open up your door afterwards, like with 10 minutes left, because the other PMCs are probably gone by that point. So there's, I've not done that, but it's possible. It's plausible. It's something you could do. Because if you want to be like uber efficient with IRL time, you like spawn into shoreline, you like lie down in a bush, you then
Stop.
you alt F4 the game and put a timer on, so the game's not even running. You do some of your regular work for 30 minutes, then you load the game back up, you reconnect. You then run into the resort, go down into the basement, go into the labyrinth, then stand in your room. You know, whatever, like carry on with some other stuff because the lab, I think it's like 30 minutes. I think. Let me just check. I think it's 30 minutes. Oh no, it's 40 minutes. Yeah, you get a long time in there. So
This is
you
a
can then go
really
and do
long
something else for
time.
half an hour, and you still get 10 minutes at the end to just like run around and hoover up some extra loot. If you wanted to do it though, if you wanted to like min max like IRL time and you're not confident with playing other players like other PMCs, but you want to be in there and like see it and give it a go without just dying to other players with shorty fouls with M61. Because that's what I've been doing, right? Like, other than that very, very first run, I've just been getting killed, ultimately. Like, I've not extracted again out of there.
Hmm.
Like, people are grouping up because it's overwhelmingly so hard as a solo.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense because it's hard even getting in there to begin with.
Yeah,
So
it's
like,
like a
yeah, you're
chance
all
on a chance
there.
on a chance. It's like
Well, it's like
50%
you're
chance
all
getting in.
there. Like, guys, can you have any Labyrinth? Yeah, let me get my card. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
just like makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do hope they open it up second, like maybe on reserve, like some people were speculating. Because yeah, that sounds awful. Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying. Like, I don't mind the time of going and doing the thing, but it's pretty painful, like going and doing the thing and then
Mhm.
having to fight someone before you even get in. Even if you win, right? You're just like, you've used some rounds, your armor's damaged, whatever. Like, you're like, I've not even got in yet. I've not even got into the labyrinth. It's like I'm already at a disadvantage. Like, I was swapping plates that one on that one. Like got
Yeah,
in. I got 2 people's worth of gear. I'm just like, which plates are like not damaged anymore? I have to like swap my loadout around so I can like at least fight. And I don't just walk out with a 0, class 5 plate or whatever. Pretty annoying.
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's cool. Like, I think it's cool they did the transit thing, but I don't know, something about the location to get there, like just the campability of it all. Like, it's just kind of weird because it's like, here's an event. This is like the thing that like the majority, presumably, the player base is going to want to engage with. And then it's like, now all of you funnel through this tiny little hole. It's
Mhm.
like, whereas like normally their events aren't like that. Like, I can't really, I was trying to
Yeah.
think of one that's like close to that. I can't really think of anything. I mean, maybe there's
There's
like a couple like
usually
boss specific things, which is like map related, but like that's a map, not like a corridor, hallway, hole in the ground, 20-minute or 20-second extract timer.
Yeah, there's usually some element of hotspots to it, but that's fine, right? It's like go to the Christmas market and get the stuff, or stand here and do the Korobot thing, or whatever. Like,
Yeah, but you have
yeah,
options
it's
there.
normally
It's
like go
like,
through this one door, yeah,
yeah, exactly,
like
exactly. I think
one
that's the
map.
thing for me. That's like,
It's
I
not like
could
there's an entrance on
understand.
every map, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Okay,
Okay,
is it time for
it is time.
Rustbutt and Tarkov?
Rustikov.
Rustikov. So yeah, I played for almost 6 hours before hopping on the Scav Talk horn, and
Because for context, this thing released like last night, right?
yes, yes. And I didn't get to play, um, so I figured I'd just play it the following day or whatever. And
Hmm.
well, I wasn't sure what to expect. Servers were not full, or like 44 out of 150, but that's okay. It was like about 2 a.m. my time when I logged on. So, on the US server. So that kind of tracks. So we'll see what player pops like, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna just switch to this here and just want you to have a look. So
Oh,
I'm at the woods. We'll go back a little further. I'm at the Woods Mountain, and let me just say, it is so surreal playing Rust and like recognizing Tarkov locations. Like, it is so surreal. But I'm at like the peak, kind of looking towards I guess that'd be like village, and like, yeah, I'm gonna have to crank up my render settings here, so I'm gonna have to like scrub a little bit. But the fact that I could see like the interchange mall from all that way was just like kind of nutty to me. Let's see if we can. Let's just say I might just have to let it play because of the VOD timing. Just trying to scrub around on this little play
hmm,
bar is gonna be hard.
yeah.
But that was just kind of nutty to me. Now it's just like, whoa, and it's just like so crazy that like it's all there and it's all connected, and it's, I don't know, but man, I don't even know what to say. So
So where do you spawn in? So how does it work? Did you spawn here?
no, so I spawned. I basically spawned in the space between woods and what's south of woods? I
Customs.
guess. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I can get approximation. Okay, so I spawned like somewhere along this road here on the coast, which is south of. See, this is the weird part because it's like there's made up locations as well. So
Hmm.
you have like the Tarkov location. So you got like here you can see woods. That's Sawmill right there. I'm 80
Yeah.
80% sure. And you got the lake, but then you got like factory, which is inside the customs area. And then like skiers headquarters is like it's just like that's where skiers, the traders located at, is like kind of like this offshoot of customs. It doesn't really exist. But and you got some stuff like that in between. And then you got like Prapper's Bunker. And what's interesting is you can see Town and Equator, which Equator, is that a arena map?
Yeah, it's the shopping. It's the little shopping mall in Arena.
Okay, I'm not too sure what's going on there because it didn't quite look like I don't even know what I was looking at. But some of these are some of the stuff is unfinished. Like, for example, where was I going towards? Oh yeah, I was at interchange, or I was along this that one spawn in the corner where you're at the railroad that's like damaged and like collapsing
Yeah.
behind you. I was on that bridge above there and I was like, oh, I can see. And then it says interchange locked, and I assumed that the building was locked, but the actual area is locked off, like it's invisible walled. But there were still
Ah.
like little bits there that they had already worked on and stuff. And I was like, oh man, this is like so, because it's just like super surreal traveling. Like, I think, yeah, this is like a train. There's like a railroad that leads, from Customs Big Red area all the way up to, no, sorry, there's a road that leads from there all the way up to like interchange basically.
Hmm.
And just taking that and then like, oh, what's down here on this giant weird railroad? And like, oh, now I'm above interchange. Oh, look, where oh, I'm at the spawn. I got the crab spawn. Where's my SJ6? It's just like it's so surreal. But yeah, it's an experience. I think I've only, yeah, I've played 6 hours, but like just the fact that because it is so big of a Rust map, like these squares go out to like double A 26, AB 28, AC 28. Like these are some serious grids here. Like I don't think the typical Rust map, they come in various sizes, but I don't think they come that big. You don't get
So
into double alpha
so
characters.
what do you actually do? Like what's the gameplay loop of this map then? Is it like Rust? Is it like Tarkov? Is it a blend? Is it something different? Like what's the
Yeah,
deal?
that's
What are you actually
it,
supposed to do?
it's a blend. So you have traders in the world
Hmm.
and you have quests. And I did debut. I went to customs. I killed my 5 scavs. I had to bring back Trapper 2 water pipe shotguns, which is like the basic single shot, basic bitch shotgun in Rust. And then you have like sort of like the Rust. It's like you got the Rust, foundation and more. And like the gameplay is kind of like shifted a little towards more Tarkov, but not really because it's still definitely Rust. But then you have like the Tarkov world slapped on top, and that's kind of the interesting part because they have PMC karma and
Okay.
scav karma, which I'm immediately thinking, can you play scav? I don't believe you can. But how it works is when you kill scavs, you lose scav karma, which affects your fence rep, which I know
Okay.
sounds weird, and I don't really know the implications, but it's a thing. If I'm a bear, so if I kill a bear, I lose faction karma PMs for my
Okay.
faction, which affects traders and stuff. This stuff isn't completely concrete laid out. It's just like you lose points for this, and so then immediately question becomes, okay, well, how do I tell? And one of the little like server auto messages, in, like the chat, will say use binoculars to identify your target. So I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, but apparently there's something in Rust because it's been some time since I've played Rust, like
Hmm.
actually played it. So there's tons of new features, but it's like new to me at least. So when you use binoculars and uh, like place your crosshair over them, you get like some type of information back. I'm not
Okay.
sure if it's like fully functioning for me
Hmm.
at the moment. Like I'm not sure what's going on, but in a perfect world, you should be able to. It should say like USEC, maybe their
Right.
name, or that way, and you can kind of determine your course of action. I guess if they're the opposite faction, you don't have any reason. The game has you actually gain faction points for killing them, so like you're
Right.
incentivized to kill them. So you kind of got this two team thing split, but I think that's kind of the interesting part for me is like one of my first one of actually my first and only interaction on the beach, like where you start in is I was on the road moving about and then someone was like or no, I heard someone coming because I was like AFK messing some settings and then I came out, I was like, hello. I'm like my innocent Rust voice. And they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm done good. I'm just," and they're like, immediately, they're like, "Are you a USEC?" And I'm just like, "Shit." In my head, I'm thinking, I'm definitely not a USEC. I'm like, maybe. And so he approaches me so that way he could see my name tag. And yeah, he was like, "Well, I guess I got to kill you now." And all I have was a little thing. I was like, "No, try to run." And so I turned around and fought him and was victorious, and I got his dog tag. I was like, "Oh, this
Oh,
is yeah,
I wasn't
good."
expecting that to happen.
Yeah, I know. Me neither, to be quite
The
honest.
way the way you were telling it, I was like, I thought that was the end.
I mean, yeah, me too. Let me tell you. I was like, "Well, back to the beach I go." Um, but yeah, there's like dog tags, there's rubles, and it's just like it's. I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's like you have to play Rust because it's like everything there in Rust is like largely present. It's just kind of got this Tarkov layer slapped on top. And for me, I think it's super cool to like play like this and go traverse the map, and you get like all the Rust, all the Rust sandbox type stuff that it has to offer. Like there's railroads, I'll talk about the transit in a second. There's like railroads, there's roads, there's horses, there's vehicles you can like repair, fix up. There's trains, there's boats, there's diving equipment. There's like this thing, like little motorized freaking I don't even know, like jet propulsion thing, like you grab onto
Hmm.
and like it just sends you forward in the water. And I and so this was another cool part is maybe it'll be towards the end here. I went to like Jaeger's camp, right? Oh yeah, this is basically it. And there's a little fishing village outside, which is like a Rust type thing. And this is what they done is they made that like a part of it. And so you can buy boat and some limited stuff there, but I think with like Jaeger you can buy so like Jaeger sells like a lot of hunting related stuff as well as like
Hmm.
arms and whatnot. Yeah, there's like non canon NPCs, and this is technically Jaeger's what's it called? Camping spot. I don't know. It's kind of a weird little fort. I imagine Jaeger's more of an isolationist. But anyways, um what was I saying? Yeah, so because there's this river that runs across this Tarkov world, I was like, oh, that you could like survive off the river and like play like that. Like it's I don't know, it's just so like fascinating to me how these two it's like the Tarkov is almost like or Rust is just like because it's kind of like sandbox heavy in a sense, like there's a lot of different stuff in the game that are kind of like
It's
open
survival, right? It's
ended.
got like survival stuff that Tarkov doesn't have, and like DayZ has that Tarkov doesn't have. You know, it's like that. It's more like that kind of game, right? Because it's like ongoing. Everything has to be encompassed within the game universe rather than menu driven like EFT is or raid driven.
Yeah, there's
Do you can
definitely
you still
that.
build? Because like most of what I see from Rust is people building huge fortresses. Is that like is that in this game? Is that what you do? Do you collect resources by chopping down trees and build stuff? Like, is that
It
can you do
is,
that?
yeah. It's limited in that, you know, as I kind of imagine, it's like you gotta be outside of the main area, so to speak. Like, it's gotta be sort of like which isn't really
Yeah.
clear, you just have to, like, try it. Like, you pull out the
Hmm.
blueprint, and it's gonna be red or it's gonna be blue, meaning, whatever you're trying to place is gonna be able to place or not. But, yeah, I don't know, it's just, like, all the different things you can like interact with like it's just intriguing to me like I wonder like you could probably set up a your own shop for example and like becoming your own trader so to speak. I mean it won't
Hmm.
you won't have like this UI that they've implemented but you could still use what Rust already has there and like everything. I mean it's just kind of fascinating to me so when particularly how the factions are going to play each other because you know it's like in normal Rust, the factions you have is like clans and like groups, but
Yeah.
these are like two big factions. You know what I mean? And like technically speaking, you can't have faction on faction violence. You just pay the cost of losing faction rep. Like I don't know that whole part of it is interesting to me and how that would play, which is why like I'm hopeful that in the future, maybe like over the weekend the player pop will be higher and because yeah I mean because the player pop was so low and the map was so big. I mean like it's freaking huge.
You just
Like
not meet anyone.
out like if I stayed in the starter zone like where you spawn like probably would meet lots of people but I think I saw one other person maybe two outside and like yeah I didn't engage in combat either time. And yeah, because it sucks. It's like, dang, I gotta take this loot and like do this thing. And like, okay, so something really cool. Search mission for Prapper. Here's like,
Yeah.
here's the USEC camp. I don't know if maybe I shouldn't have said anything to see if you can recognize it. But
I mean, I see.
I had I had to mark things for it, and it gave me this device. Man, did I? I think I had to go back. It's
Do
a
they have the
single.
mines? Like, are the landmines there?
No, thank God. At least I didn't find any. Let me say that. Thank God. Um, so in the game Rust, right? There's this like radio device, RF transmitter, and you can set to a frequency. And what that does is, if you somehow on the map you can figure out the frequency to this location called oil rig, which is as it is an oil rig in the middle of the water, and there's like rare loot there,
Mm.
whatever. And if someone's taking oil rig, you can set that device to that frequency set, which you have to figure out. I forget how you figure out. I think it's like a puzzle room, and then it will go off, letting you know that someone's like trying to take oil rig. So what they did, because there isn't that in this game, presumably, those act as the markers, and when you get the quests, Prapper's like, "Okay, take this marker, go to the place, on the USEC camp and mark it." I'm like, "Okay." And then he says, "Set the frequency to 512." I'm like, "Okay, set the frequency to 512." Pull out the marker, and then, like, I'm in the generator, I click it, and then I get, like, quest completion. I was like, "Oh, that's so clever." It's like they took somehow they were able to, like, rig that up to make that work, and, you still keep because the transmitter has a durability bar, like all the stuff in Rust that's like consumable. It eats a little bit of the durability, but nevertheless, I just thought that was really cool. I mean, probably most people are like, what the heck is this person even talking about? But if you played Rust, you know vaguely what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm intrigued. The last cool part that I didn't expect was they have transits. So they got like these in vanilla Rust, right? Here's custom. This is great gameplay footage. Me just oh no, I spoiled the freaking anyways. Um in vanilla Rust, you have I'm trying to retrace my steps now backwards. What was I gonna talk about?
You're saying about being in customs.
hmm Before that though.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Transits. So on the map, I
oh yes.
noticed these little like subway icons, right? And in Vanilla Rust, that is indicating the underground subway. And there's basically nowadays, there's basically a second map on the Rust server you join, which is the underground, and it's just like tunnels and trams and trains. That's like, they all like interconnect, and you can like traverse. There's AI down there. Like it's kind of crazy to me that Rust is where it is now in that terms. Um, but yeah, so I was like, oh snap, is there like a whole underground system? Because like maybe yeah, maybe you'll see here in a bit. There's the D. Actually, what are these even ZB12, ZB14 extracts? I'm like
Yeah.
thinking, oh man, there's probably like a whole like rat sewer system underneath here that's gonna like connect everything. But specifically, this transit here, not this one you're seeing, but the one I'm referring to, takes you to. It's just like really, it doesn't even go. There's like an elevator that goes down like one floor because normally it will go down like 10 to like the subways,
Hmm.
right? And it's just a guy in a room, and then you talk to him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a scav uh, trafficker or whatever. I work with Fence. Pay me some money, and I'll take you to one of the other locations." So you can like use it as like a transit to go from like outskirts to like customs in a sense. Like
Like a
so
fast travel sort of mechanic.
basically, and you just pay a fee, and that fee is based off your scav rep. So I guess that's
Mm.
a bit of the mechanic there, but I just thought that was kind of interesting slash nice because yeah, it was like, man, running by foot from like one side of the map to the other is just like you don't it's not you run fairly fast, but it's still like you're running. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna take you some time. So I
Yeah.
like that they have that. And then of course moving up through the progression, eventually it's like the dream is getting a car and zooming about. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely want to try some more. I'm gonna see about getting some friends in on it. And
Because I guess you can play sort of however many you like, which is quite nice, and just like dip in and out.
yeah.
Would you make like a base somewhere? Is that like the idea? You can make a base somewhere on the map, like in the open,
Yeah.
or
I mean
do you
I
not even need to
kinda
do that?
I mean, you kinda need to because you have to store your loot somewhere. Um
Because there's no stash to start with, I guess. You're just living out of your
your
own
base is
bag or
your
whatever.
stash, yeah. And like seems like the vanilla rust progression in terms of like working the trees to unlock stuff like boom explosives is like super toned down. Like that part of the game is really slow. Um
Can you do it though, or do you have to buy everything from the traders?
you can do it, but it's a real grind is what it looks like. Like normally,
Hmm.
um like the currency that you use to tech tree and like research is scrap. And like that stuff is like a diamond. I mean, not a diamond dozen. It's like super rare gold dust. Okay, and this version of Rust.
Mm.
So they've like heavily toned out. Like I can't. I don't even have enough to like research this crappy 8-shot revolver. I think it's like 75. I have like probably like 50 in like the 6 hours I play.
Right.
Normally, I mean, you just like run a road and every barrel has like 5 to 10 scrap. Like you get so much. So I think they've done that to make it, yeah, because like it's already kind of brutal having to like vary task items from like I had to take 2 shotguns to Prapper, who's like I was at like woods at Jaeger, so I had to go all the way like halfway in the middle of the map to no, not even to customs to the beach. But then it's like
Mm.
skier needs a a tank top, and it's just a white tank top, and it's like, oh, that's the untar bank. It's so
Ah,
cute, and a
yeah, you
shotgun,
like
a
the things
water
they've done.
pipe. Yeah, it's like I feel like for me, this is like almost like a love letter to Tarkov. You
Mm.
know, like just some like person who's like talented enough to rig all this up. Just like, yeah, I just want to like make this cool thing and like share it with people. That's what it feels like to me, and
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know if it's gonna be like anything really. Maybe for like a blip, people will will make like the content rounds, but yeah, we'll see. It would be
We'll
fun
see.
if
I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to give it a try.
yeah, oh yeah, that's the thing I really want to look forward to is going to factory because it's inside customs, and I've always
Mm.
wondered what that's gonna be like. So I'm curious to see what that's gonna feel like. But yeah, it is. You're still playing Rust, so you're still like doing the Rust things, which is like routing simulator, farming simulator. I mean, you don't have to like farm a lot for base materials, but like I mean, that's kind of the nice thing about it is like you can just build like a bunch of tiny little wooden shacks around the map, but then all your loot split up, and I don't know.
Mm.
It's like I'm still trying to piece that part together because that part does feel kind of like it feels like I'm missing. I definitely feel the downside to a system like this, which is means you have to bury crap everywhere and you can't just like click raid go and then get boom you're in the action. It's like it's a slow burner, and let me tell you, when I get scared, oh my god, I scream like a girl. Like it's so because you don't see action for like an hour. I got stuck for a second.
That's the thing. It's like old DayZ. Like it's just like the way DayZ was back in vanilla. You wouldn't see anything for like 4 hours, and
Yeah.
then you're just like chatting with some friends by a campfire, and then someone just suddenly gets shot in the head, and it's just like all hell breaks loose. Everyone's just like screaming, like it's complete chaos. But that's like I don't know. The game's almost I don't know. They're almost enhanced in some way. Like if that's the kind of experience you're looking for, like it's kind of it makes the intense. It's a bit like what we were saying before about the labyrinth, right? The fact that you can't just like queue for it
Hmm.
it makes it more like yeah, it's a grind, but like it makes it more intense when you actually get in there because you
Yeah.
can't just like go. You know, it's some of these like implemented. I don't know, barriers that are there on purpose. They can add to the way that things work sometimes. I don't know. It just depends. Depends on what kind of gameplay you're looking for. But
Yeah.
I'm certainly interested in this. I don't know anything about Rust though, so I don't know how like it would be quite hard to go into this. From not knowing anything about Rust. It's like a bit difficult.
I'd say the challenge would come from it's just different,
Mm.
I wouldn't I feel like Tarkov is the harder game. Like there's just more buttons, more mechanics, more depth. This is like simpler and that's like the weird thing about Rust to me is like it feels very unique, but also like dated, but also not. Like it's just weird. Like it's like, yeah, it feels if you're playing like a modern FPS today, there are certain expectations and it's almost like really I can't lean
Mm.
in
Mm.
my shooter that has iron sights and all this. Yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like what was I playing not too long ago that it didn't have? Oh, I think it was like Far Cry. I bought one of them on sale. It was like Far Cry 5, which isn't too old, but even that had like pseudo leaning the ADSing around corners. Like if you were close to a corner ADS, your character like snapped or like did an animation to like lean out.
Mm.
But you couldn't trigger it on your own. But like that was there. You know what I'm saying? You don't get anything like that in Rust. So it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, is there nowhere to store stuff if you're just when you start? Is there nowhere to store things? It's just you just have to carry everything. Is that the deal?
Not safely. Like you can like I made a wooden box and ran up to a bush and placed the box down and put my stuff in there and then marked it on the map to come back later. It's not
Okay.
ideal because any human being can come along and loot
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
box. You could put a lock on it, but then any human being could just break the box because it's only a wooden box. Ideally, you would make a stash, which is like you basically make your own little Jaeger cache, and that digs in the ground and it's like invisible.
Hmm.
And you have to come back and then find the pixel and spam the use button to get it to dig back up, which is totally not a nightmare and totally not something that would happen to me. But yeah, I
Is
didn't
that
have
a
the
Rust thing or is
resources.
that a this game thing?
That is a Rust the game thing. Yeah, like
Okay.
a 9. It's like 80 to 90% of the stuff is like just your regular Rust stuff, but then there's like this Tarkov layer on
Yeah.
top, and it's like certain aspects of the Rust game have been retrofitted to make work with like the Tarkov way of doing things. But it's largely all Rust, and I don't know. It's kind of like I said, I'm kind of like you know interest peaked, but I really feel like I need more players than 44 on this map because it was just
Yeah.
not. It was PVE most of the time, which is fine, but
Mhm.
kind of want to see. I want to see the more interactions more. I like that whole stuff in normal rest that you get, which is the toxic 12-year-olds on the beach. But no, you get some fun interactions. I like to see more of that and how that plays out with the Tarkov factions layered on top of it. That might be interesting.
It is just funny to see the locations in another engine. What's like your
It's
favorite area been so far?
I mean, customs. I okay. So I took a train. This was cool, but terrifying. I took a train. I was trying to get to Skier or someone. Oh yeah, this was towards the end. Yeah, okay, so I was on horseback and then I saw a train. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty. Yeah, this is the one that's in the underground in vanilla. So and this is a new feature too. They have backpacks in Rust now. So, anyways, so I hop on this train thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna take this thing, and then on the map here, I'm like, oh, it's gonna go down. And I thought that was customs, but it's actually reserved. So I'm gonna like come in at well, maybe not. I think I realized my mistake of like quartered away there. But I'm like, oh wait, this is bending around because there's even like in regular or in Rust, you can like divert the tracks, I guess, to
Hmm.
take different routes. So presumably you could go into Lighthouse into the horn
Lighthouse, maybe?
treatment plant, yeah, which I specifically avoided because if it's anything like Tarkov, I don't want to be there. But anyway, so yeah, I come like full pedal to the metal. But I kind of was finicky. I was like, should I just walk in? I'm like, wait, that's gonna be bad because if there's raiders there, I'm just gonna get blown to shreds. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go full throttle and just like speed through reserve, right? And what I forgot was is that the train station is kind of destroyed. Once you go past the actual train station, you got like those train bunkers.
Hmm. In K, yeah.
Yeah, and well, it came to a sudden stop. I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And then worst of all, so it's like it's getting nighttime. I think I finally got at like hour 5, I finally bought a flashlight, right? Like I found a trader that sold it. I thought I got
Hmm.
stuck here. That was really scary. Then freaking Bradley, the tank. There's like a tank in Vanilla Rust, right? So he's like patrolling the area. I'm like, God, if this guy shoots at me and kills me, it's over. So like I gotta like divert and yeah. It's just I think I don't know, just everything layered on top is just like it's kind of a fun little spectacle. And the other thing that I liked a lot was the areas in between.
Mm.
There is like loot there, but it's like fairly small, but there's like little they're not like marked points of interest, but like one was like a it was like a oh that's what that was. Yeah, it was a car repair shop. Because then again in Rust there's like these little I don't know, I don't even know what you call it, like hydraulic lifts that lifts up your car
Okay.
that you can like work on basically.
Hmm.
And like, normally you would have like an outpost for that type of thing, but you don't really have that here. And maybe I haven't been the mechanic, maybe he's got one. But anyway, it's just like this little like rundown car shop on the side, and then there was like the wall was like broken in, and you could like explore, and there's just like two things of loot, and it was just I was like, this kind of it's kind of nice to have like these little bits that the developer made to like fit in. It's kind of fun. It's not like
Mm.
anything egregious. I like it. I also wonder. I was actually really curious about this. I was like up at Northwoods, like past that scav camp, and then you go
Yeah.
past, and there's like that construction area that's like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go there, you get sniped. Well, I
Hmm.
went like past that, and then there was like this lake and this shack slanted, and like it all looked so like placed very particularly. And I'm like, did they like copy that from the game somehow? Like, did they like find that in like the files or something? And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, or is that just like something they did? I don't know. I would be really curious to know like, how they did some of these
Mm.
things because it's like it's not. I wouldn't say it's like one to one, but it's like really darn close. Like, I think
Yeah.
somewhere on Woods, I felt like the proportions was a bit off. Like the valley was too wide or something. But otherwise, like customs was like, yeah, this I know exactly where I am. It's like, yeah, I'm playing Tarkov. This is weird. Uh,
That's very cool. Yeah, I might fire it up and give it a try if I get some time. I'll have
yeah,
to
let
pop
me
on,
know.
see if we can play. That'd be super fun. Just to try
Yeah,
this. You'll have to teach me like what the Rust stuff means. So I'll be like, who's Bradley? Like what's going why am I being shot at? What's happening? Just
yeah, we'll do it.
and just changing over different types of ammo and like all the the buildings you can
Yeah,
make because I don't know any of that stuff, right?
yeah, yeah, yep. That stuff's
It'd be
yeah.
cool though.
That's probably the hard stuff. Everything else though, fairly straightforward.
Mm. Well,
All
long live
right.
it, perform. I hope it goes on. I hope it works well for whoever it is and that they continue to make it because it'd be sick if they do.
Yeah, yeah. I submitted in the Discord. You can submit bugs, and I found a few bugs I submitted, and they responded. It was like, "Yep, I just finished that one," or "I'm aware of it." I was like, "Oh, this is great."
Mm.
like actively less than 12
Awesome.
hours. Yeah, so I'm excited.
That's so
I
good.
can't wait for the complete map, all the DLCs. Cool. Anything else before we wrap up today's episode, Giga?
Um, no, not really. I literally was just like, I just refreshed my Twitter feed, and apparently there's a Battle Pass tease that's been posted 16 minutes ago.
Oh no.
It just says soon, Escape from Tarkov Arena. And that's it. And Axel said, Battle Pass tease, more to come. In my opinion, Battle Pass will be released on the 7th of April. I don't know why he thinks that, but
Ah.
yeah. So yeah, that's the
Is there any?
only other bit. There's nothing in it. It's like 14 seconds of just like some graphic. It's like the edge of the graphic.
Gotcha.
Like we're kind of missing it or something. And then
Yeah.
it's just got like all these letters just twisting through, and then it just says soon. In the classic PSG style. It just says soon.
Yes. Very classic.
Yes. Yeah,
I
so
guess.
yeah, I guess that's it.
Guess we'll have to wait
Yep, we will see.
until next time. Until next time.
We'll see you later.